Hey guys, Steph here. So I did it. I finally did it. I stamped out all my pigment inks, the Mama Elephant, Avery, Elle, and Memento Luxe, to compare for you guys that wanted it. And it took a while, and I got very inky in the process. But I hope I did it in a way that can show you guys. I was trying to figure out the best way. So first, really quick, I'll do the whites. And I did smudge one, and then the other one was slippery when I stamped it, so you'll see it's double stamped. I did it on black paper. So this one here, it moved while I was stamping it, so I did it again. This is the Memento Luxe wedding dress, and this is the Avery Elle Pure White. I will say that the Avery Elle Pure White really had nice coverage, and it's almost got a nice texture to it. It did take longer to dry though, but all white inks take a while to dry. You just heat set it real quick. I was too lazy to. So those are the whites. Mama Elephant does not have a white ink. Then what I did, okay, we'll start with the reds and pinks. Okay, this is what I did here. So I'm going to kind of fold it like this for a minute. So everything in this row is Mama Elephant, Avery Elle, and then Memento Luxe. So I tried to coordinate it as best I could, and hopefully the colors will show up pretty true on here. Rhubarb stock is dark, and I didn't see any likeness, and, you know, there was no comparison. For these, Apple Mama Elephant is the lightest. The Cherry Avery Elle is a nice bright red, like very vibrant. And then the Love Letter is a more deep, true red from Memento Luxe. So those are all the reds. And then for the pinks, now as you can see, I tried to do it by looking at them, but like these two would look better closer together. So we have the Lollipop by Mama Elephant, Raspberry by Avery Elle, and Rosebud from Memento Luxe. The Lollipop and the Raspberry are extremely similar. Like extremely similar. This one's a little bit more vibrant, but very similar. There's no comparison for Rosebud. The Angel Pink, there's really no comparison. That's Memento Luxe. And the Bubblegum Mama Elephant, no comparison. Then the Mama Elephant's Blush and the Avery Elle Orchid are very similar, but this one has a more purple undertone, while this one's a more pale. And then the Pixie by Avery Elle, there's really no comparison. It's a very light blush kind of color, and it's got almost a peachy undertone. Really pretty. So definitely these two are very similar though. Okay, so there's those. Then the oranges, yellows, and greens. Okay, so oranges, there's Orangeade by Mama Elephant and Fizz by Avery Elle. And these two, again, extremely similar. The Avery Elle Fizz is a little bit more dark, while the Orangeade is a little more bright. And then Memento Luxe has Morocco, and that one has no comparison. It's like a blood orange. Okay. For the yellows, the Mama Elephant, the Memento Luxe Dandelion is the darkest, and then the Mama Elephant Sunshine is very bright, almost neon. And then the Mimosa by Avery Elle is more like a true soft yellow. Not soft, but not as like neon-y. You know what I mean? And then for the greens, okay, so the two, I'll start with the two that are almost identical. The Mama Elephant Mojito and the Avery Elle Celery are almost identical. I mean, really, I don't see a difference to my naked eye, but, you know, maybe someone else does. And then we have the Mint to Be, no comparison there. This is Avery Elle, and the Avery Elle Lemongrass might look a little similar to Pear Tart when you first stamp it, but when they're dry here, the Memento Luxe Pear Tart is a little more on the green, while this Lemongrass has more of a yellow to it. And then the Pistachio Luxe and the Olive Green Luxe and the Northern Pine Luxe, no comparisons there. And then for the blues and purples. Okay, so for the blues, now, okay, so we'll start up here. There's Ocean by Mama Elephant, Aquamarine by Avery, Elle, and Teal Zeal by Memento Luxe, and they really are quite different. This one, the Avery Elle one, has a more blue-green look, while this one's got a more like pale blue to it. Then the Winter and the Sea Glass. So Mama Elephant Winter and Avery Elle Sea Glass look pretty similar, but there is quite a difference when you see them out like this dry. When you first stamp them, they really do look similar, and then once you let them really dry, the true color comes out. So again, this one has that more green undertone. This one has the more blue-gray undertone. And then the Avery Elle Sapphires and the Danube Blue by Luxe looks a little more similar to each other, but the Sapphire has a more, it's darker than the Danube Blue. This is a more bright, this is a darker one with almost a violet undertone. And then the Nautical Blue is a very dark blue with a gray undertone. And then Bahama Blue is almost neon blue. No comparisons there. The purples, we have Mama Elephant's Eggplant, and then Avery Elle Sweet Plum, and Sugar Plum, and then Memento Luxe Sweet Plum. The Sweet Plum and the Eggplant are pretty dang similar. This one's a little more dark, while this one's a little lighter, but they're pretty similar. The Sugar Plum, there's no comparison there. It's got a purple kind of magenta color to it. And then the Lilac Posies is a pinkish purple, and then the Elderberry is an extremely dark purple, like super dark. So there's those. Then for the browns, grays, and black. So for the brown, there are no Avery Elle brown ink, no Avery Elle brown inks right now, pigment inks, but there's only one Mama Elephant, and that's the Hazel, which is the most similar to probably the Toffee Crunch by Memento Luxe, but the Toffee Crunch is very pale. This one is definitely more darker, okay, and has a nice like kind of bark color to it, I think. The Peanut Brittle I put in the browns, but it's got a kind of gold tone to it. It's like a mustardy brown, like a mustard yellow and brown. Rich Cocoa and Espresso Truffle are the darker ones, and this one's got a more gray, this one's more brown. For the grays, we have Mama Elephant's Smoke, Avery Elle's Fog, and Memento Luxe Gray Flannel. The Smoke is the lightest, and it's got a very warm undertone, while the Fog has a more, I'm sorry, I'm mixing myself up, I can't even talk. The Smoke has a cool gray undertone, like a steel gray, while the Fog has a more warm, like brownish, not brownish, but you know what I mean, like it's got more of the warm colors that'll kind of get in there. And then the Gray Flannel is the darkest. This is more a steel gray, like a bluish undertone to it. And then lastly, the Tuxedo Black. There's no other black pigment inks by these three companies. Stamps beautifully. And that is the ink comparison that I promised. So I hope that shows you guys. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks for watching.